What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I will be reviewing and ranking the Kiss catalog from worst to best. Kiss is one of my favorite bands and I always wanted to do a ranking of each of their albums to express my opinions and see what your opinions are in the comments. So overall, this is my ranking and it's all opinion based. I respect everyone's opinions and you should respect mine too. So, let's begin. So coming in at number 20 is this album. 2012's Monster. I think Monster is a ripoff of the rock and roll over period of Kiss. Some songs like Hell or Hallelujah is good. However, the rest of the album is just uninspired, unoriginal, and not good. Gene's work on this album is very just reminiscent of his stuff from Love Gun and Rock and Roll Over, and Paul's stuff besides Hell or Hallelujah, which is a great song, is also uninspired. I feel like when I listen to this album, it just sounds like I'm listening to Love Gun or maybe even Paul's solo album, because it's just not inspired. So coming in at number 19 is this album. 2009 Sonic Boom. Same problem with Monster. It's a ripoff, and it's a ripoff of the era, the rock and roll over Love Gun era. Like I said, there's one good song on this album, as in Modern Day Delilah, and Say Yes, okay, I guess, but besides that, Tommy Thayer's Out of This World song is not that good, and then the one that Eric Singer sings is stupid. Like I said, same thing goes for Monster. I don't know what to say about this album, just more than just it's just not good, and personally, it's just a ripoff. And some people could feel nostalgic, and some people could think this is pretty good. I don't think this. I think it's just really bad. So, coming at number 18 is this album. 1998 Psycho Circus. Psycho Circus is the supposed reunion album that Kiss was going to do after the four members reunited in 96 to do the reunion tour. However, that quickly came to fruition later on, as it was revealed that the drummer on this album is not Peter Criss. Peter Criss plays on one song on this album. The drums are mainly done by session musician Kevin Valentine, who played on some other stuff for Kiss at the time. However, this album is not good either. I can name about maybe 3 songs that are good. I mean, We're One is okay. You Wanted the Best is also okay, and I really like the track Psycho Circus, the title track. Besides that, the album is a bit boring. I don't really like the song called I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll. Is a bit cheesy, and Journey of a Thousand Years. It's pretty epic. I don't like to say that word, but besides that, it's just a boring album. It's not. I don't really know what to say about it. Like Monster and Sonic Boom, it's just not my favorite. Coming out at number 17 is this album. 1989's Hot in the Shade. This is the last album to feature Eric Carr before he passed away due to heart cancer. Hot in the Shade is really bad. Whoa. There's 15 songs to begin with, and the album clocks in like about under an hour, which already can tell you that there's a lot of filler on this album. Another problem, the production. The production on this album is not good. It sounds like garbage, and I know it why it is, because they used the demos. They wanted a raw sound. However, they did not get a raw sound. They instead got a shit sound, which I don't know why, because maybe you should have not used the demos. Instead, re-record the songs. Maybe they would have been better. No, use the demos. So we have trash like Cadillac Dreams, King of Hearts, The Street Giveth and The Street Taketh Away, You Love Me to Hate You, Loves a Slap in the Face, Read My Body, which Paul is at rapping because it sucks, and Prisoner of Love. These tracks are just boring. However, there's good stuff. Forever is one of their best songs from the non-makeup period. Um, I think that the song Hide Your Heart is a nice ballad, and what's it called? Rise to It. Although I don't like that acoustic intro, I think it's a fun song. You're gonna rise to it. I like that. And the track Silver Spoon is really good too. I always like that one. Whoa, whoa. So, besides the good stuff, Hot in the Shade sucks. And the only reason it's better than the three ones they released with the makeup later in their career is because Forever and these other good songs are great. And it's really good songs, but oh my god, there's a lot of filler, and the filler is bad. Coming in at number 16 is this album, 1987's Crazy Nights. This is a overproduced, glossy nightmare. A lot of these songs are cheesy, as there are 11 songs on this album, a lot less than Hot in the Shade. And I will single out great tracks right now for you. So, No 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 is my favorite song on the album. I think the great guitar work by Bruce Kulick on this song is just makes this song fantastic. Tracks like Crazy Crazy Nights. This is a fun song, a fun anthem. Tracks like Turn on the Night, Reason to Live, super fun ballads. However, Gene's stuff is not good on this album, although it's a lot better than the stuff on Animalize and Asylum, but it's just not good. I will argue that the song, I think it's called Thief in the Night, is one of Kiss's worst songs. It's really bad, and I don't, like I said, like, when it comes to the bad stuff, I don't know what to say about it. All I have to say is it's just a bad song. So, Crazy Nights falls really low on here is because of its production, and overall, songs, I mean, like, My Way, I forgot to mention this, My Way is fucking awful. The song is super anthemic, and you can do what you want. Like, no, it doesn't work. And Paul's stage raps in the song, ugh, not good. So, coming in at number 15 is this album, 1980's Unmasked. Unmasked is quite an odd album to say. Peter Criss is not on this, but he's credited on here. Anton Fig does the drums on this album after Peter Criss was not cooperative enough, and he didn't play on this album. This album takes a more popular approach than normal Kiss stuff, which I could be for because I'm a big power pop fan. However, it doesn't really work as a power pop album, as some of the songs on here are weak, but there's great stuff on here. Is That You, Talk to Me, Naked City, What Makes the World Go Round, She's So European, which is a very cheesy song, but it ends up being my favorite on the album. Torpedo Girl, great song. And besides that, then we get to like the really cheesy stuff. Shandy, the single from the album, which didn't really do much in the US, but it was a big hit in New Zealand and Australia and the oceanic regions, where they were very popular around this time. But besides that, Unmasked is very bloated. A lot of the stuff on here is overproduced. And Vinny Poncia, the producer of the album, plays the keyboards on this album. And the keyboards are really loud in the mix, which makes this an overproduced nightmare. And it brings the album down a whole lot. I love Unmasked. I love these songs, but the production and the keyboards sink it down to the number 15 spot. I mean, if it wasn't for the production and the keyboards, this could have been maybe number 11, number 10, maybe number 9, I don't know, but Unmasked, it's not the best, but I own it because Ace is on it. Ace has great songs on here. Talk to Me, like I mentioned. So, yeah. Coming in at number 14 is this album. 1985's Asylum. Asylum is a glam. When I mean glam, I mean really glam. Their costumes or their outfits are very, very flamboyant. I mean, it's colorful all over the place. But besides that, we'll get to the actual music on the album. Paul's stuff is excellent. I love King of the Mountain, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Tears Are Falling, which is one of my favorite songs from the Unmasked period. All Night. Corny, but great. And that's Paul's stuff. However, with the case of an album that I will discuss very soon, Gene's stuff and Gene's material ruins the album a lot. He has a track on here called Love's a Deadly Weapon, which ends up being one of the worst Kiss songs. Love's a Deadly Weapon is, don't know what it means. I don't know what that means, but I like Eric's fills on here. The members on the album, or the track, my bad, not the album, are awful. Bruce's solo is not good, and forgot to mention, this is the first album to feature him as the lead guitarist, and it's just not good. Gene's song Any Way You Slice It is not good either. Secretly Cruel, I don't like that lyric idea. Gene meets a woman who has all posters of him all over, and then there's a one poster that Gene likes. Want to know why? Because it's a poster of him, and it has a thing sticking out of it, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, pretty much, yeah. This album is okay, but Gene's stuff on here is arguably his worst, but I wouldn't say, I'm saying arguably because I know what's his worst stuff, because it's coming up soon. So, Asylum, it's okay. Coming in at number 13 is this 1997's Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. This is the last Kiss album to feature Bruce Kulick, and the last one of the Unmasked era. Carnival of Souls is their darkest album, probably their heaviest, or grunge. I wouldn't call it grunge because it doesn't sound like it. However, it is very similar to like Soundgarden, maybe. If you looked at the songs like Hate and Rain, which are the two of my favorite songs on the album. I think Gene's material on this is heavy, raw. This is a raw album. I mean, this is what Hot in the Shade probably could have sounded like if they made it a raw album. This is stripped down to the core. This is a great album, and the reason that's at the number 13 spot is because a lot of the stuff on here is kind of filler. A lot of these songs are a lot longer than normal Kiss tracks. I mean, some of these songs are nearly 7 minutes, as the case of being Jungle. This track is nearly 7 minutes, like I said, and it kind of goes on for a bit too long, and this album ends up being a bit repetitious and kind of waiting, like when is it going to end type of thing. However, I will argue right now that people who think this is one of their worst, it's not. I think I've some of the material on here is better than some of the stuff they did in the 74 or 77 era. I'm saying some, as in 2 songs. The stuff on here is heavy, raw, and great, and ends up being a number 13 spot. Coming in at number 12 is this 1984's Animalize. This is the first album and only album to feature Mark St. John. Animalize is a great album in Paul's side of the stuff. Paul's material on here is excellent. I think it's some of his best. I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, Heaven's on Fire. Those two songs are some of my favorite songs that Paul's ever written in general. I like the songs Under the Gun, Thrills in the Night. Those are fun tracks. And Get All You Can Take, which features the only F-bomb in a Kiss song. Don't know why, but I guess it works. It's a nice Zeppelin-inspired tune, if you listen to it. Okay, so 5 songs are great, and you may think, oh, the rest of it can be good. No, Gene Stuff is the worst. People know this as Gene at the time. He was trying to become an actor. Don't know why, because Gene, you're a musician, not an actor. You were in a movie called Runaway, starring Tom Selleck, which is pretty good, science fiction-esque. However, Gene's stuff on here is bland, boring, and ultimately awful. Songs like Burn Bitch Burn, and lyrics like I Want to Put My Log in Your Fireplace, and songs like Murder in High Heels, which has a great riff, but an awful lyric. With a sleight of hand and a word of mouth. What does that mean? When you read Murder in High Heels, she's got murder in high heels. Are you murdering her with high heels? Or did you murder I don't get it. I don't get it. However, besides that, if Paul's stuff wasn't on this would be Kiss's worst album, easily. But, since Paul's stuff is on here, I will put Animalize at the number 12 spot. So, coming in at number 11 is this album. 1983's Lick It Up. This is the first one to feature them with no makeup. Lick It Up is great. I think this is a quintessential unmasked period album for Kiss. A lot of great stuff on here, just to name a few. Exciter, Lick It Up, A Young and Wasted, which has Gene on vocals, but Eric would sing it live. All Hell's Breaking Loose, A Million to One, Fits Like a Glove, Gimme More, all those songs are just excellent. And On the Eighth Day is okay, so is Not for the Innocent. Now, I haven't mentioned one song, and it's right here called Dance All Over Your Face. Oh no, this is the worst Kiss song. And guess what? It's a Gene song. I have nothing against Gene, but this is awful. Oh my god, what does it mean? So, dance all over your face? Like, is it you trying to like go on someone's face and go like this or something? I don't even know. But it's about someone getting cheated on and they want to fucking murder someone. So, dance all over your face? Is that like some sexual thing? I don't know. But besides that, Lick It Up is great. There's nothing else to say about it because I said it already. So, coming in at number 10 is this 1981's Music from the Elder. This is Kiss's progressive album, and it's a concept album pretty much about a council of elders find a boy, think he's the chosen one, develops him to become the chosen one, and thus the elder is born. I don't know what the fuck, but conceptually this album sucks. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, actually. The lyrics are awful. Out of mountain high somewhere where only heroes dare stand the stallion and the mare. Don't know what the fuck that means. No one in the band wrote that. That's a song written by Anthony Powers, or Tony Powers, who plays keyboards on it. The song called Odyssey. Besides that, musically, it's excellent. I don't mind the lyrics, but I want to hear good music. And when I hear good music, I know. I'm a big prog fan, so that probably explains why Music from the Elders is high, but tracks like Just a Boy, Only You, Under the Rose, A World Without Heroes, The Oath, Mr. Blackwell, all great songs, and I love it. I love this album. It's it's a quintessential prog album in the style of Kiss, and although Kiss isn't known as a progressive band, for some reason it works. Surprisingly, I can't believe it, but it works. They worked the album good enough that they made a prog album that sounds good. And Kiss made it, and it's a concept album, which makes it even cooler. However, might be one of the worst concept albums of all time. Unfortunately. Coming in number 9 is this 1992's Revenge. This is the best album of the Unmasked era. There's no question about it. There's no opinion. I don't even need to think twice. This is the best album to make the Unmasked era. Tracks. This is heavy. This is a great follow-up to Hot in the Shade, because Hot in the Shade stunk and they got their act together and they fucking made an amazing album. This is the first album to feature Eric Singer on drums, as Eric Carr unfortunately passed away in 91, the same day as Freddie Mercury, due to heart cancer, as I mentioned earlier. However, he is featured as a tribute on the track Car Jam 1981, which is similar to Led Zeppelin's Moby Dick. And yeah, I like the riff. Ace originally played on it, but he's got erased, and Bruce instead plays guitar on it. I love this album. Unholy is a great song. God Gave Rock and Roll to You too. Domino, Heart of Chrome, Thou Shalt Not, Paralyzed, Tough Love, Spit, Take It Off. All these songs are great. However, there's one song that kind of kills the album. Not really that much, but it's just so out of place. Every Time I Look at You is a ballad that just doesn't, it's just weird. And Revenge is a heavy album, yet they made Every Time I Look at You the single. Don't get why they would do that, but maybe it's because Kiss were just dying for a hit single at the time. They got God Gave Rock and Roll to You too. Many people love that song, and I don't blame them. I love God Gave Rock and Roll to You too. But just besides that, Revenge, it's fantastic. The best era Unmasked album is Revenge. Coming in at number 8 is this album. 1982's Creatures of the Night. Haven't opened this record yet, but still, this is the return to heavy, as they would say. After the commercial failure and flop of The Elder, and they made this. This is their return to their sound with a heavier, darker twist. I wouldn't say it's as heavy as Carnival of Souls, but it comes as a close second, I would definitely say. Tracks such as Creatures of the Night, Saint and Sinner, Keep Me Coming, Rock Roll Hell, Danger. I could, all these songs are great, except Killer. I mean, Killer's a decent track, but it's not that good. I Still Love You is a fantastic, dark power ballad. I Love It Loud, War Machine, my favorite song on the album, is heavy. I love Gene's vocals. You Better Watch Out, because I'm a war machine. Creatures of the Night, Paul has great vocals on that song. Danger, underrated track. I love Keep Me Coming, very Zeppelin inspired. Overall, Creatures of the Night is a heavy classic and arguably one of their best. Coming in at number 7 is 1977's Love Gun. You may be surprised that Love Gun is this low. I have my reasons. Love Gun is a fantastic album. I love I Stole Your Love. Christine 16's great. I Got Love for Sale. Shock Me, my favorite song on the album. Tomorrow and Tonight, just a great first side. Side 2 comes, it definitely tones down the overall greatness of the album. Just a little, a lot. Love Gun, I love that song. Besides, that's like the main highlight on side 2. Then we get to songs like Hooligan, which is a nice song that Peter wrote. Peter, I don't think he wrote it, but he sang Hooligan. Not a big fan of it, but There's Almost Human and Plaster Caster, which are okay. I think Plaster Caster is a lot better than Almost Human. But here's the thing. The album closes with Then She Kissed Me. Doesn't fit the album a lot. It's a cover of the Crystal song, Then He Kissed Me. Since Kiss is not gay, of course, they changed the lyrics around to she, said he. And I hate it. It's one of Kiss's worst songs. It's so out of place, and it just does not fit. When you listen to it, and then she kissed me. Like, no. It just doesn't fit, and it's a whole, like, different part of Love Gun. I mean, like, if they Love Gun, I mean, like, Love Gun's fantastic. Then She Kissed Me sucks. So, that's why Love Gun is my least favorite of the 74 through 77 era. Coming in at number 6 is this album. 1976's Destroyer. A lot of people think this is Kiss's best album. People can argue because a lot of these songs on these are classics, absolute classics. However, I do have my reasons. Detroit Rock City and King of the Nighttime World are fantastic. I love God of Thunder. I think it's a heavy, heavy song. Paul actually wrote that song, if you didn't know. He just wrote it for Gene in mind, and that's how Gene got his God of Thunder persona-esque thing. Flaming Youth is a great song. Sort of hit for them. Sweet Pain is underrated. Solo by Dick Wagner on here is an ace. Shout It Out Loud, fantastic classic. And Do You Love Me, a great closer. It's majestic, and I love that. The piano at the end, it works a lot. So, you may think Destroyer's a great album. However, there's 2 songs that I did not mention. I'm going to tackle this first one because you may like this song, but I have my reasons. Beth does not fit on here. Beth is a ballad, which is Kiss's biggest hit, actually, if you didn't know. I like Beth. I think it's a beautiful song, but it just doesn't fit on Destroyer. I think Peter Criss sings it very, very, very well. It's just a beautiful song. It pleases my ears, but it's just between Shout It Out Loud and Do You Love Me, it does not fit. Now, Great Expectations. I absolutely hate Great Expectations. Bob Ezrin hiring a boys' choir to sing, "You got great expectations." Like, no. Don't do that. And then the lyrics that Gene wrote, "You know what my fingers can do." Like, no. I don't like Great Expectations. I think it's one of Kiss's worst songs. If Then She Kissed Me did not exist, this Great Expectations would be the worst Kiss song from the 74 to 77 era. But besides that, Destroyer is a fantastic album. It's a bit overproduced, but it's a classic. It's an absolute classic from Kiss. Coming in at number 5 is this album. 1979's Dynasty. You may be surprised that this album is this high on the list, and I have my reasons. This is the return of Kiss and supposedly their disco album. I don't think it is because there's only 2 songs that are disco. I Was Made for Loving You and Dirty Livin'. I Was Made for Loving You is a great song. I love it. I think Paul's vocals in the bridge I can't get enough. Like those are kind of weird, kind of cringe worthy. I don't think Paul can really sing that high, but he did it. So he did it. The next song, 2000 Man, sung by Ace, is a cover of a Stones song off of their Satanic Majesty's Request. But obviously very different because 2000 Man, the original song, is ridiculously weird and psychedelic. On here, it's harder edged. It's rounds out at almost 5 minutes. I love it. I think I love 2000 Man to begin with. Both covers. Then Sure Know Something. This is one of my favorite Kiss songs, and overall, Sure Know Something might be a top 5 Kiss song in my opinion. Then we come to Dirty Livin'. It's the only song on the album to feature Peter Criss on vocals and drums. This is the first of two albums to mainly feature Anton Fig as the drummer on the album, as he plays on every song but Dirty Livin'. And as you know on Unmasked, he's on that whole album. I'm not a big fan of Dirty Livin'. I think it's the one disco song I don't really like, but it works, I guess. Gene's songs Charisma and X-Ray Eyes are excellent. Paul's song Magic Touch is great, and the two songs that Ace sings to round out the album, Hard Times and Save Your Love, are great. Coming in at number 4 is this album. 1975's Dress to Kill. This is the third studio album that they made, and this is released right after the unsuccessful album Hotter Than Hell. And this album is very short, clocks in at just over a half an hour, but there's a lot of stuff on here that is great. I love Her All I Can, Come On and Love Me, Rock Bottom, She, Room Service, Two Timer, Anything for My Baby, and obviously the closing track, Rock and Roll All Night, which has become one of Kiss's biggest songs. They play it at like nearly every show, and there's a reason why this is a top 5 album. Every song on here is great. The production is not the best, but it's great. I love every song on this album, and the first 3 Kiss albums are some of my favorite albums of all time, just to let you know. So, 1975's Dress to Kill is number 4. Coming in at number 3 is this album. 1974's Hotter Than Hell. This is the follow-up to their debut album, and this has really awful production. This is obviously the worst produced Kiss album, even worse than the ones that came out in the 80s. But despite the production, the songs on this album are some of Kiss's best. Got to Choose, Parasite, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Watching You, Mainline, Strange Ways, Coming Home All the Way. All these songs are just great. And another one that's pretty short, barely over a half hour as well. I love it. I love Hotter Than Hell. However, it is a hard listen because of the production. The drums end up sounding very like stupid, and the guitars are really not pleasant to the ears. But besides that, this is a fantastic album, a very Gene heavy album, as there are, I think, 5 songs that he sings on here. If I'm right, I'm checking right now. Yes, 5 songs that he is on, and overall, Hotter Than Hell, despite the bad production, amazing stuff. Coming in at number 2 is this album. 1976's Rock and Roll Over. This is the follow-up to Destroyer, and this is produced by Eddie Kramer. This is a fantastic album. Every song on this album is a classic, in my opinion. I Want You, Take Me, Calling Dr. Love. A perfect track, Calling Dr. Love is. One of my favorite Kiss songs. Let's see, we got Baby Driver, pretty good song. Let's see, we got Mr. Speed, one of my favorites, very underrated gem. See You in Your Dreams, Love Him, Leave Him. Ladies Room, I love that song. And my favorite on the album, Hard Luck Woman, as this is the one they wanted to make for Peter Criss to sing after the success of Beth. Hard Luck Woman is a fantastic song. Although I express my not good pleasure about Beth being on Destroyer, I love the fact that Hard Luck Woman comes right after See You in Your Dreams and right before Making Love. This Hard Luck Woman is a fantastic song, folk rock at its best, and a lot of 12-string acoustic guitars, and I've always been a sucker for 12 strings. And I think Hard Luck Woman is one of Peter's best, if not his best song he ever did as a member of Kiss. And finally, number one on my ranking for my Kiss albums is the 1974 debut album by Kiss. What more do I need to say about this album? Although it was a commercial failure, I can name, this album is practically a greatest hits album. Pretty much almost all this album has been concert staples for Kiss for 50 years. I mean, read songs like Strutter, Nothing to Lose, my favorite Kiss song, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond. And besides that, the songs that I didn't mention, Kiss in Time, Let Me Know, and Love Theme from Kiss are all great tracks. I mean, Let Me Know is a Beatles-esque song in a heavier tone, and at the end there's that riff that when they perform She and other songs live, they'd incorporate the Let Me Know riff onto that song, and it works. I love this album. Every song is fantastic. It's a classic, and it's one of the greatest hard rock albums and one of the greatest debut albums of all time. However, I do have more to show you. So in 1978, Kiss released these solo albums right here, and I'm gonna rank them for you. Unsurprisingly, Peter Criss's comes in at number 4. This is a soul-influenced album that Peter did. I'm not a big fan of the stuff he did on here. I love soul music, but he's not good at it. Standouts from this album include I'm Gonna Love You, I Can't Stop the Rain, Tossin' and Turnin's a pretty good song, and Easy Things Okay. Some of these songs were written by Sean Delaney, and who Peter actually asked to produce the album, and ended up being Vinnie Poncia who produced this album, and then Vinnie Poncia ended up producing Dynasty and Unmasked. And one thing funny about Vinnie Poncia is that after producing Peter Criss's album, when Dynasty came, Peter said, we're going to have Vinnie Poncia produce the album, otherwise I'm leaving the band. However, when Vinnie Poncia came in, he was like, oh, Peter's not good enough to play drums. So they had Anton Fig play drums, which is hilarious, as Peter was threatening to leave the band if they didn't use this producer, and the producer didn't end up using him for the Kiss album, which is hilarious. So, the third best solo album, don't know why I put it before, is Gene Simmons' the solo album. His is weird. This is a mix of everything, actually. There's some harder edge songs on here, like Radioactive and See You in Your Dreams. But there's stuff like, Burning Up a Fever, I forgot to mention that. But then there's Beatles-esque songs like See You Tonight, Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide, and Mr. Make-Believe. And you can also count Man of a Thousand Faces. These tracks are the best ones on the album. I love the Beatles-influenced stuff on here. It works so well, and it's some of the best stuff that Gene ever wrote. However, there's some stuff on here. There's songs I didn't mention. These 3 songs: Tunnel of Love, True Confessions, and Living in Sin. They suck. I think they're very inspired by the music of disco and pop, like Cher, because he was dating Cher at the time, so you had Cher on Living in Sin, and then Donna Summer background vocals on some of these songs. They're not the best, but I appreciate the Beatles songs on the album and the harder edged ones, which makes Gene's a bit better than Peter's, but close to being the worst solo album. But it comes in at number 3. The second best Kiss, Paul Stanley's solo album. Paul's solo album is the most Kiss-like out of all of them, and this one is fantastic. I love Paul's Tonight You Belong to Me, Move On, Ain't Quite Right, Would You Like to Know Me, Take Me Away, Together as One, It's Alright, Love and Change, Goodbye, all great songs. That's missing just one song that he used as the single of the album, Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart. Cheesy as shit, awful track. I don't, like I said, I don't know why he released this as a single, as when people think of Paul's solo album, they think of that one song and ultimately say that it's not that good. Unfortunately, it is overshadowed because of that. I think that this album might be the best solo album if it weren't for that one song. However, there's a solo album that I haven't said yet, and the thing about that one is that there's no bad songs on that, and that solo album is Ace Frehley's solo album. This is gutsy, heavy. Yeah, I said Paul's was the most Kiss-like. Ace's is the most heavy one. Tracks like Rip It Out, great drums by Anton Fig. Like I said, he played on Dynasty and Unmasked. Great drums on this one. Speeding Back to My Baby, Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind, New York Groove, which was a big hit at the time. I'm in Need of Love, Wiped Out, and the great instrumental Fractured Mirror to close out the album. This is easily the best solo album. There's no question about it. You listen to this. I'm so happy that Ace got like his ability and confidence to sing, because if he didn't, who knows what the solo album would have sounded like if he didn't sing. Shock me, because this is a fantastic solo album. I love Ace's voice on here, and this ultimately ends up being the best solo album, like I said. And that is it. That's my ranking of all the Kiss studio albums plus the solo albums. And I hope you enjoyed my ranking. Hopefully it wasn't too hot of takes for you to listen to, because I mean, they were pretty interesting takes. I mean, I put Dynasty over Love Gun and Destroyer, and yeah, so pretty much thank you for watching, and goodbye.